Hey everybody, it's Ken Haas from Reverend Guitars and Railhammer Pickups, and I am out here in sunny, beautiful Louisville, Colorado with my good friend
Reeves Gabrels.
And we are taking some opportunity in Reeves' very, very busy schedule with The Cure to give you guys and the Wildwood viewers and all of our friends here at Wildwood the opportunity for Reeves to personally go over a couple of his signature models that are available here at Wildwood. These particular ones that we are holding, this is the Reeves Gabrels dirt bike in a gorgeous gold to red burst, and the Reeves RG Sus in the similar gold to red burst. There are 4 of these in the world, only available here at Wildwood, and there are 16 of those in the world. And here in the States, the first 12 of them are only available here at Wildwood. And beauties, wouldn't you say?
I feel like we're the Penn and Teller of...
I talk a lot. Everybody knows that.
I'm perfectly happy nodding.
Yeah. So
what would you like me to do?
No, here's what we're just going to we're going to take this into straight interview mode.
Okay.
So Reeves,
how does it work?
How does it? No. Hey, we'll get
Get
into how we'll get into how it works. What brings you here with me today? How did you end up with Reverend?
Oh, that story.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
as you may recall, we met in 2008. Mm-hmm. Was it 8 or 9?
I think it was 8 or 9.
I was hoping you would recall.
Yeah.
And at the Summer NAMM show in Nashville. And I was there with my friend Audley Freed, who already knew you from you stalking him. Mm-hmm. And he brought me over, and you guys let me take a buckshot? Was that?
Double agent.
Double agent.
Mm-hmm.
I can never remember. It was a double agent, and I just fell in love with it and called you guys up, and you were willing to do a signature model, and now it's how many years later? 10 years later?
10 years later, 12 years. Well, it would be 11 years later, because last year we did our 10th anniversary guitar. So, yes, the RGX, which we sold through.
Is it all gone? They're all gone now?
They're all gone. Mm-hmm. They're all gone for sure. So the first model was based on the double agent.
Yes, it was. And that was a hardtail because I was going through a hardtail period with I'd gone off the tremolo for a bit.
And was that a result of playing around with experimental tunings and not wanting a floating bridge, or were you just...
I was just going through a classicist period.
Okay, understood.
Usually that's what follows. It goes any modern, postmodern neoclassicism. So
okay.
I arrived there that way for this 3rd time in my life.
And then eventually, You wanted a trem.
Eventually, I wanted a trem, and I don't know if these had been around or they just showed up, or whether my interest.
We originally made the original Jetstream models with the Wilkinson VS50s, and we liked them. And then what happened was when we had that economic reset in the aughts, as the people like to call it, we got away from doing trem guitars because they weren't our most popular sellers and they took a lot more time to set up. And when we sort of narrowed our focus for a little while, and then as we started rolling into 2010s and we started gaining momentum again and growing, you had indicated that you were interested in one and we were interested in doing it. What we had never offered before your model was the route in the body underneath the
back
trem,
route.
the back route to allow you the up pull. Which is, of course, standard on all of your models. And then, interestingly, our good friends at Wildwood Guitars, when we announced doing a special trem version of your guitar, bought 20 of them in turquoise. Remember that?
Yeah.
And you ended up with one of those turquoise ones. I made a couple extras.
With the Imaginary Friends, that's kind of my go-to guitar for that band.
And so that was sort of the second evolution. It was the Fast Track. It was a Fast Track 1, if I recall. And I can even, now that I remembered that there was the Chopper.
Yeah.
They had some good sound. Those were some cool sounding
pickups. I still use the Chopper from time to time.
And that had an uncovered Reverend ceramic humbucker in the bridge. And while we were doing that model and getting all of that going, Joe Naylor was at his house endlessly tinkering with humbuckers, and he developed the Railhammer pickup, which you see featured on these bad boys with the blades under the wound strings and the oversized pull pieces, oversized slugs under the plain strings, in order to balance out the output of the blades.
Yeah.
But the blades do this compression thing on the bottom end where it keeps the bottom end of these guitars really tight, and it makes for a humbucker with the most clarity in the marketplace. There, I said it. I threw the gauntlet down. And Reeves, you just seem to be a fan of stuff that Joe does.
Joe likes the Rat pedal.
Yeah.
I've always liked the Rat pedal. Tube Screamers, not so much. I don't think Joe's a Tube Screamer guy. You know, Joe uses light strings. I like 9 to 46 or 9 to 42. I think heavy strings are for people that need something to hold on to. And there, I threw that down.
More gauntlet laid.
And you know, and Joe just Joe arrives at the decision I'm trying to get to before I get there, and I usually end up going, yeah, that's what I meant.
We're talking about Reverend founder Joe Naylor, by the way, and yeah, so when he got the Railhammer pickups out and onto the marketplace, you very quickly, we got to put that in the signature model.
I threw one in the what year did the Wildwood Turquoise?
That would have been 2012, I believe.
Yeah, so as soon as you sent me I got sent a anvil.
Oh, the big
anvil,
the Mac
and I put that in the turquoise guitar that I had already put a Sustainiac system in at that point.
Nice.
In there, and they played nicely together. So.
And then so the next evolution of the RG1 guitar was with two Railhammer pickups in it, and it was a chisel set, I believe, at first in the RG1.
And the contour happened, the belly cut and the top contour, which the turquoise one does
not have. Yep, that's
it feels more like you're playing a Telecaster in terms of the way, you know, you get Les Paul or Telecaster sort of forearms sometimes because it's so big and square, you know.
And we'll just briefly touch on it here because we don't have one here to show you because Wildwood sells our guitars so quickly and they get them in stock. Truth. Because there was a Space Hawk here last week, I checked, now it's gone. The Space Hawk was developed to make a guitar that was a little more friendly for you to use in the Cure and filled up some of the sonic space that you needed to cover in the Cure and creatively, but with a really cool guitar. And there were a couple of the features of the Space Hawk that The main one being the sort of the tilt-back bound headstock that found its way over onto the RG1. And then shortly after the Space Hawk was developed and we started doing that, then you had some suggestions to Joe on the Railhammer pickups for frequency ranges and outputs and things that you wanted to try, which eventually ended up being your own signature set of Reeves Gabrels Railhammer pickups.
Yeah, which the root of those Railhammers is probably the Alnico Grande.
Okay.
That I think that it's sort of like a steroided up version of that. It's a departure a little bit from the Anvil, or the Chisel, which the Chisel I still use every night in my other guitars, you know, and you know, it's just I was looking for something specific for the Space Hawk, and then I found that it worked in the other guitars as well. So.
Rad.
Yeah, that's always a drag when something works out like that.
And we wanted the pickup to not only tonally be sort of set aside from the other stuff that we're doing in the Railhammer range, but also you were looking for something with a little bit of visual impact just for fun, and so we offered that set in the brushed nickel, which you can see on both of these models. We offer it in black as well, and so cosmetically on the Reverends, we tend to sort of just look at them and see where it fits best. With this color, this brushed nickel looks, I mean, folks.
And when the scab isn't on the pickguard, it looks even cooler.
Yeah. It does.
But the
yes.
And so with the Space Hawk, Joe came up. I mean, we basically took the Sensei body shape and made it bigger because I personally wanted something that drew from the existing Reverend line, so it wasn't just like a left field departure.
Sure.
And I wanted a 6-in-a-line headstock, and which we did on the Space Hawk, and then that moved over to the dirt bike as well, which goes back to the Sensei body shape, but with the 6-in-line headstock. So it's all part and parcel. It's after making like after we made the Space Hawk, which 2012 when I joined the Cure, I was playing my RG and it worked great, but I realized that a lot of the Cure music was recorded on semi-hollow or hollow body guitars, so I needed something that had that response, but we also play seriously f***ing loud, so I couldn't have F-holes without having problems with uncontrollable low-end woofy feedback. And if I EQ'd that out, then I had a really thin nasally guitar sound. So we had we basically made a semi-hollow with no F-holes, with a Bigsby, which is also key to a lot of the Cure stuff. And the 2 signature model pickups, a kill switch, and the guitar was designed to be, I also came up with a softer, I spent a couple of months trying different springs in the Bigsby and moving it around until I found a location and a spring tension that I sent to Joe, and then Joe had the springs made, and now you guys offer them as the soft touch spring, which is a great way to breathe new life into your aging Bigsby.
Yes. Truth.
And then from there we went to this. Pretty much, right?
Yeah, and then that led to the dirt bike model, and the idea, I think what initially started this is you were still in Nashville.
Yeah.
And at least what I tell people
is
you wanted the guitar that was sitting by the door that you could just grab and go play with Tim or whoever
or Jamie or whatever.
Yeah,
and I like the Tim Carroll and Jamie Rubin, by the way. Give them the full name check.
Yeah,
But the what I enjoy when I'm not, I used to enjoy doing it when I was with David Bowie and now with the Cure. When I'm off the road, I like not having a bunch of stuff. I like a 1 pickup guitar and an amp and a cable and a tuner. And I'm not really that into the tuning thing, but other people seem to like it. And so that's how we came up with the dirt bike. And dirt bike was slang that we used to use when I lived in Boston and stuff for, when you're showing up with the essentials to play a gig, that's like riding a dirt bike.
Oh, okay.
It came from drummer friend of mine used to have a little tiny kit that he would bring for pickup gigs, and he looked like he was riding a dirt bike because he used to bounce while he was playing it. So and you know, like most little catchphrases, they didn't bear very little resemblance to their original intention.
And we've rehashed a bunch of old Schwinn colors in this.
Because I did,
model.
in fact, have a dirt bike and a Schwinn.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And we've had a little bit of fun with that. We kind of combined two of the colors actually on this one.
On this one.
With the gold and the red, but we've done the blue and the purple, and that tangerine orange color is just so wicked looking. Yeah, I'm a sweater. Yeah, it is what it is.
I know.
It's totally fine. So then this whole 12-year history thing is really fun. So then this leads us to the sustainer. So yeah. you were a longtime user of this sustainer. You had I'll name check other brands. I don't really care. You did the Fernandez thing in the aughts, and those are cool.
And before that, I had when I was in Tin Machine, I was still playing Steinberger. Rick Turner and Ned Steinberger had come up with a sustainer system, a polyphonic sustainer system that they put in one of their guitars, and he loaned it to me for about a year. And I just used it in the studio, but the problem with it was its power source was external. It took a Canon plug, or an XLR plug, to plug it in, and the guitar would heat up over the course of playing it. And so if you were playing it for more than a half an hour, you'd end up with because it was in a little square Steinberger, you'd end up with a square sweat spot on your shirt from which I didn't, that wasn't the thing. I tried to avoid giving it back to them, but they eventually found. So I've been using a sustainer of some sort since 1988.
But you settled with Alan Hoover.
Well, the Sustainiac. The reason for that is it's the one system that I'm aware of that's true bypass when it's off. So if your battery goes dead, you can keep playing. You just don't turn the sustainer on. And in those situations, if you want to, you can use the sustainer as a kill switch because you can turn your guitar off and on. But there's a bright side to everything. Yeah. And it's just I found Alan's consistency with parts and the tone and the circuit board, and there's a lot of voodoo in the Sustainiac. There's like you got to have the wires right. You guys, you took the Alan Hoover Sustainiac class. Yeah, we found out to find out how to do it. And,
yeah, we found out.
But
it's so. And we were just. This is one place where I was very reactionary.
It took 3 years for me to get you to do it.
I resisted for a long time, and part of it was a labor thing. We're still a small company, but growing, and I just didn't have the extra tech power to do the routing and the installation stuff that was necessary. And when we got to the point where we did, of course, I had enough requests for the Sustainiac in the model, and there were other artists that had wanted them, and we had sent some to Alan Hoover and had him do some installations personally, but that was never really an option. And so when it came to the point where we were able to do it, we started doing it, and it's been about a year and a half. And honestly, we haven't figured out what the right number of them to make is, because we sell them, they're back ordered every single time. We sell them instantly.
Told you.
I know. You told me. Yeah. I admit. It was limitations that I was putting on myself that we didn't get them done sooner. And now we're doing them, and they're great. And of course, Wildwood wanted to do an exclusive color. And how did we even arrive at this color?
You sent me some color ideas, and then I said, well, what if we did a sunburst, but did it with metallic? Because you had the Venetian gold color, and then we had the red metallic from which is, to me, with the Space Hawk, that is the Space Hawk color. It is. Like the blue, metallic blue is the dirt bike. And so you'll notice there's no blue in this though. But anyway, I just thought as an experiment, it would be neat to see a metallic sunburst, because I don't ever recall seeing a metallic sunburst. And
I did, and because now I'm name checking people left and right, but what was Yamaha's Super Strat that they did with the reverse headstock in the 80s in response to the Gem? Do you remember what those were called?
I didn't pay any attention to Japanese instruments in the 80s.
Well, and I remember because that,
Sorry.
what was his name? Blue Saraceno?
Saraceno.
Yeah.
Did he play one?
He had a plaid one. And at the time they were offering that, they offered and this is metallic, this is a nice, subtle, tasteful color. They offered a full-on glitter gold to red sunburst. And I went on the old interwebs and found that. Yeah, that's a good looking, that is a good looking color combination. And because, you know, Yamaha never gets any ideas from us, I thought it would be fun to publicly get an idea from them. I don't even know why I went there. But, you know, I felt they had to be set. And, And then there's that. So that is how we ended up on this really cool color for Wildwood. And I love the way that the sustainer unit melts into the pickguard, and this nickel cover, the nickel cover on that pickup just pops it right out. It is killer.
And this is the Pau Ferro.
Pau Ferro.
Fretboard.
Pau Ferro fingerboard.
And the other thing that, you know, in all the talk about the sustainer, we tend to not mention the actual sustainer pickup.
Yeah.
Which, when it's off, becomes sort of like a Strat, somewhere between a Strat and a Firebird pickup to my ear.
Yeah.
You know, and in fact, the better parts of both of those, I think. And so you can, you know, this functions as a regular pickup when you're bypassed.
Very clear.
Yeah.
Like stark almost.
Yep.
Which is a really nice compliment to the bridge pickup. Yeah,
Well,
play it.
Yeah. Which, compared to the neck pickup.
Right. And together?
Together.
It's a different in-between tone than a two-humbucker guitar. For sure.
And you can play the theme from Law and Order with it. It's perfect. Because it's got the little bit of wobble on the pop string.
There it is.
That's the Mike Post sound.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Ken and Reeves talking about the Reeves Gabrels signature model line from Reverend Guitars and the exclusives that are available here at Wildwood in Louisville, Colorado, where we like to be year-round. Let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Where was I when I started doing this?